All right, what's up, YouTube? Today we have a message from overseas, from someone named Flavio. And Flavio says, "Brother, you are an inspiration. Years ago, I used to have a routine, but now I don't seem to find motivation at all. Plus, perhaps I'm just surrounded by people that don't have the drive and support mindset. What would you recommend? I'm from Portugal, Lisbon, and I live in England. Holler at your boy, brother." Thanks for the question, Flavio. It's a very important question, and it's one that I can speak to because it's something that happened to me. I want to start by saying there's a lot of things you can do to become successful that don't necessarily have to do with money. And you've all heard that saying, success starts in the mind long before it happens in real life, or long before it becomes tangible. And that's incredibly true. There was a moment in my life where everything changed, or when the ball started rolling faster than ever before. And that moment was when I started to change who I hung around, where I hung around, and the kinds of conversations I was having. That saying, if you hang around 4 millionaires, you'll become the fifth, is so true. You can't underestimate the power and the importance of that quote. So number one, Flavio, if what you're telling me is that you have people around you that you don't think are motivated or unmotivated, or are not in a place where you want to be, leave that group and find a new one. There's another saying that says, know what it is that you want in life and remove everything that isn't that. It sounds harsh, but the essence of that message is knowing what it is you want and not playing around about it. I knew that I wanted to become wealthy, that I had big dreams down the future, and so on and so forth. So everything around me, from my peers to where I hang around, reflect that. Even the kinds of conversations I have. So for you, Flavio, what I would do is I would do research on where like-minded people hang around for whatever it is you're trying to do. I'm not sure what your goals are. I'm not sure what they are, so I can't speak to that. But seek out groups that think like you, and if you can't find it, in the meantime, work on yourself and you'll start to attract it. Sometimes people focus on not finding the right people so much that they forget that they should be working on themselves, and in the process of working on yourself, you will attract people who think similar to you, who motivate you, and eventually you guys can reach your goal together. As far as a routine, as far as not finding motivation, everybody draws motivation from different places. Where I draw mine from is a couple of things. Number one, it got to a point where my algorithm on social media was nothing but motivational content. A lot of the times they tend to sound cheesy, they can be corny, they can be repetitive, but that repetition of constantly having those motivational messages in your head, I believe they do something. It's like what you watch is what you eventually become. And if all you're watching and consuming is motivational content, it will start to have an effect on you, which is what happened to me. So if you're feeling unmotivated, start by changing the things you're consuming, whether it's the music, the YouTube videos you're watching, and so on and so forth. Number two, you don't want to be, in 20 years, you don't want to look back and regret that you took no decisions to get where it is you want to be. I think that's a horrible feeling. One of the things that scares me is me eventually being on my deathbed and looking back at my life and saying, damn, I took no risks, I took no shots, I didn't do what I wanted to do because I was scared of other people's opinions, and so on and so forth. In fact, it's that fear of being on my deathbed that prompted me to jump into social media and be who it is I truly am. So if you don't seem to find motivation, you're going to be living the same stagnant life or whatever it is you're doing until you do find that motivation. So if you're fine with the life you're living, then so be it, more power to you. But you can't have it both ways. You can't say you want to be successful or you want to achieve a certain amount of goals while also saying you don't have motivation. Find the motivation. But the thing is, motivation and inspiration, they always wear off. What you're gonna need to do is find discipline, find a routine, and make good habits that can sustain you every day, that will eventually get you to where you're trying to go. Again, these things sound repetitive, they sound cliche, but it doesn't dismiss their truth. As far as a routine is concerned, I've had the same routine for 3 years. I get up at 5 a.m., I pray, I work out, and then I start my day. Find a routine that works for you and just stick with it. I think a lot of these things come down to people do have good routines in the back of their mind somewhere. They try them for 1 or 2 days and then they fall off immediately. Find a good routine, dog, and stick with it. And then it's all going to come back down to how bad you want it, how bad you want what you're trying to accomplish, and can you make it happen? But the one thing I would take away from this is change who it is you're hanging around and the environments you're in. There was a point in my life where I was surrounded by nothing but Ivy League students, doctors, lawyers, engineers, businessmen. By default, it lit a fire under me to be better, to become better. Because when you're around such greatness, such people aspiring to be better, it rubs off on you. You get lit up, and all of a sudden you want to become great. So go to the local coffee shops where people are thriving, or find new groups of friends, or so on and so forth. But these things are in your power. You have the power to seek out different groups of people having different kinds of conversations about business and success. Seek them out. But if you can't find them immediately, work on yourself, find a routine, get in shape, read self-improvement books, and you'll be on your way. All of a sudden, you'll start to attract better. Be better, and you'll start to attract better. So I hope that answered your question, Flavio. We're all trying this life thing one step at a time. But again, the thing that changed everything for me was once I started to change who I hung around and where I hung around, things started to change dramatically. You hang around 4 millionaires, you'll be the 5th, period. For everyone else watching, continue to send me emails for things you want to hear me discuss. Leave a comment about your thoughts, words of encouragement for Flavio, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.